Hello, everyone, and welcome to Breathe Motivation. My name is Anthony Hester. I am the host and founder of Breathe Motivation. So glad to join you here on this Friday. I hope you guys have had a great week. Man, it feels good, right? You guys are, most of you guys have made it to the weekend. I hope some of you guys that are working weekend will have a great time at work and you'll do everything that you want to. So if you guys have any big plans for the weekend, I hope you guys have a great, safe time. So let's recap yesterday. So yesterday we talked about being human, and it's crazy to think that a lot of us forget that we are human, and we can make mistakes, we can learn, we can grow, we can get better. And I think sometimes we all try to be the best we can be 100% of the time, and it's just not realistic, right? I know that I go through that sometimes, and really challenge myself to really realize that, hey, Anthony, it's okay. You can make mistakes, and hey, it's okay. If things happen and they don't turn out the way that you thought they would, but things always tend to get better. And I think, we've got to be able to, acknowledge that and be comfortable with, being okay with being human, right? Because that's what we are, right? None of us have superpowers. I wish I had superpowers, to, I don't know, read faster, fly, to be able to read people's minds. That'd be kind of cool, right? So whatever superpower you want, just think it and maybe it'll happen for you. No, I'm just kidding. So today we are going to talk about being late. Now, I know this is going to hit hard for some of you guys, right? Because you guys are always late to everything you do, right? So that means you got to start earlier. You got to create plans. You got to do great things. No, I'm just kidding. So it's a little bit different than what I'm talking about, but let's give you the definition today. So the definition is late. So it's doing something or taking place after the expected, proper, or usual time. So, as I turn 30, so this is what am I, 5 days into being 30. And what I've learned is, I get so frustrated sometimes because I'm like, man, I'm 30. You're like, what the heck? Where the heck did my 20s go, right? And, where did all this time go? And where did it, how did it pass so quickly? And it's funny because I was talking to my buddy Caleb, and I might have a spin-off of, this podcast. But, when I look at the things that I do on a day-to-day basis, I was so caught up in, man, I'm 30. What do I have to show for being 30? And as I know some of us struggle with that daily. And, even before in my 20s, I was like, I was 20, 21, 22. And I was like, man, 21, 22, I should be way ahead of where I'm at. And, it comes back down to, really, understanding that things happen how they're supposed to happen. And, the action that you put into what you do, you've got to be able to be okay with that and just know that things take time, right? And, one of the biggest things and what I had to, really, look at this week and reflect on was, things are going to take time and things will get where they need to be. I just got to take action and, have trust and faith in the process, right? I've got to be able to believe in the process. I've got to be able to believe in myself and just allow, just allow these things to happen. Because if you're taking action, things will happen for you. So, you've got to be able to allow it and be able to, not necessarily just wait for things to happen, because I think that, is one of the biggest lies anybody could tell you is just wait for good things to happen. Good things come to those that wait. I think it's kind of a challenge. I think, really good things come to people that take action, right? Because you're taking action towards your goals and, not afraid to go after them. Now, I've seen some really lucky people where they don't do anything and all of a sudden, great things happen, which is awesome, right? And maybe that's a belief in their relaxed, mindset. I think sometimes I can get so, caught up in my thoughts and, I start to miss out on some things. So you've got to be able to, relax. And, I think that's okay. It's okay to be late to the party, right? So I look at it, I'm 30 and, I had to look back and I had to look at all the things that I've accomplished since, turning 30. So I created a business, right? I actually, created a business, at 29 years old. So that was pretty cool, right? I bought a house at 20. I think I had just turned 29, right? So I started to look back at all these things that I accomplished, because I think sometimes we forget the great things we did accomplish, or great things that we, maybe set out goals. I go back and I look at my goals, from, 5, 6, 7 years ago. And I look back and I'm like, oh man, I accomplished a lot of these without even really paying attention to them. So, I have to look at it and I have to say, I could be a little bit more deliberate, right? But subconsciously, I continue to go after the goals that I set because that was what I'm focused on, right? So when I have some goals, I have goals on paper and I look at those, daily so I know what I need to do to be on track, right? So what's my next step in business, or what's my next step in, creating a better life for myself? One area I have an opportunity in is my health, right? I want to be able to be healthy for the long run, because if I'm not healthy now, these things will come back to bite me in the butt in 15, 20 years, right? So I've got to be able to watch my diet, and I've got to be able to watch, how I eat, and, all these things, because, I look at my family history and it doesn't look very good if I don't work on myself and, try to remain, not even try, I hate saying the word try. If make sure that I am healthy, right? So I've got to be able to do that. So that's what we've got to do. But a big thing about being late to the party, what I've noticed is, I looked back and I was looking at things and I was like, I don't know why I found some kind of list, or I found some, celebrities or whatnot that, had really kind of made it, at an older age and an older stage. So I took some notes and I thought it was interesting because I think a lot of us think, all these things, they happen so quickly, but a lot of the times, we see these, examples that, these people, are, huge, and they did great things and they found a lot of success. But, one of those things is success takes time, right? So it's okay to be late in, into the process. There's never too, for me, I don't think that there's ever, it's never too late to kind of just go after what you want or after your dreams. You've just got to take action towards it. So, here's some interesting, ones that I looked at and I was like, oh, wow, that's interesting. I didn't even know, right? So you look at somebody like Harrison Ford. So Harrison Ford, he's a pretty big time actor, right? Was in Star Wars, Indiana Jones. He actually didn't really get started into, movies and, and film and all of that until after he was already in his 30s, right? He was like early 30s. He actually was a carpenter on a set of a movie, and that's how he was found, and that's how he created, that's how he got into film and all of that. But it was after him being 30, in his 30s. So that he found great success in that, but he worked towards that, and he's one of the most well-known actors, right? So I also look at, someone like Mark Cuban. So Mark Cuban owned a bar, and until 25, he didn't really get going in the direction that he wanted to. So you look at him, and then, you look at Ray Kroc, right? I hope, do all you guys know who Ray Kroc is? Now, if you don't, there's a great movie. It's Ray Kroc is the brains behind McDonald's of where it is today, right? So it's the movie The Founder. It was a really good movie. I really liked it, and maybe some of you guys won't like it, but I like the story and seeing that process, right? But he was 52 years old when how he helped the McDonald's brothers create this empire, but he kind of took it from him. So kind of crazy in how it worked. But when you look at it, Ray Kroc was 52 years old. So, he ended up, obviously, McDonald's is, one of the biggest restaurants in the world, international, right? Everywhere, anywhere you go, there's like a McDonald's on every other corner, right? So he didn't get started until he was 52 years old. So it's interesting to see that, right? And then you look at like Mary Kay. So Mary Kay Ash, she created Mary Kay, I'm sure you guys have seen those pink cars driving around, the pink Cadillacs, right? So she actually didn't get started into that business until she was 45. So what she was doing was she was selling books, and she was, selling, home goods door to door. So you never know when great things are going to happen. So you've got to be able to look what you're doing and, be okay with being where you're at, right? Be okay with where you're at and then start taking action, because that's what really creates the success behind what you're doing. So you've got to be able to go out and do that. And, I think the biggest thing, and, what it brings in my mind, is that you just have to take action, and you have to go after your dreams no matter what. Start looking at the things that you do on a day-to-day basis and say, hey, am I doing the things that I want to do to accomplish my goals and my dreams? And if you're not doing that, hey, how can I start today? What can I do today that's going to make me better tomorrow? and create a better future for me down the road, right? You've got to be able to start taking movement each day towards your dream and your goal, right? And, really stop getting so caught up in, oh man, it's too late for me, right? It's never too late for you. You've got to just stop. I have to, I have to tell myself, stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop, victimizing yourself and decide to get up and do it. And I think that's what most of us need, is just a little kick in the butt from ourselves to say, hey, you got this, get up and do it, right? So we've got to be able to just do that. And if, you find people that'll hold you accountable, like my wife is awesome at holding me accountable, right? I tell her what I want to accomplish. And, if I start playing the victim, guess what? She tells me, hey, you need to stop whining about it. This is what you wanted to do, right? So how can I help you, or what can I do to help you? And, how can we, just talk to me about what you're trying to accomplish, right? So I love having her there because she holds me accountable, right? And I have friends that hold me accountable to what I want to do. And as much as it sucks sometimes, because I'm like, man, I just want to sit back and relax for a second and take a breath. And I do that every once in a while. But, they're like, hey, you have your goals, you have your focus. You've got to be able to stay focused. You can't, just fall off the face of the earth. You got to just keep moving and keep pushing. And that's a big thing for you guys too. So what I'll tell you is, whatever age you are, if you're young, keep going, keep doing your thing, get started. If you're older, it's never too late to start. You've got to be able to get out there and do what you want to do. And don't be afraid because of your age, or be afraid because, you feel like you're older, or you're not in, the greatest shape, or whatever that looks like. Start doing the things that are going to get you to where you need to be, right? Be intentional in your actions on a day-to-day basis. That's going to take you to the destination that you want to accomplish, and know what those goals are. Write those down, look at those daily, and you will find success. So it's okay to be late to the party, right? But if you're late to your meetings and all that stuff, start getting on time, because that's a big thing, right? At work, you don't want to be getting in trouble for being late. So you can be late to the party of success, because you'll find it, but don't be late to meetings. All right. So let me leave you this quote. It's never too late, and you're never too old to find success. Pretty basic, pretty general, right? But you are capable of being successful. Go out there and do it. Make it happen. You're the best, right? Say it with me. I'm the best. I'm a masterpiece. I am successful. I know what my intentions are, right? So be kind to yourself. Enjoy what you do. Know that you will be successful no matter what. So check out our website, breathemotivation.com. You can find us on social media. I'd love to hear from you at Breathe Motivate on Instagram and Twitter, Breathe Motivation on Facebook. I greatly appreciate you guys tuning in with me daily. I will be here tomorrow on Saturday. And remember to breathe motivation and exhale success. I will see you tomorrow on Saturday. You guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks.